Hello, everyone, and welcome to Episode 6, The Power of Solitude. In this episode, I will be discussing why time alone is so important, and how being alone, and even lonely, can be a gift instead of a curse. If you're like I used to be, and think that loneliness is the worst possible thing, I invite you to listen in with an open mind and see if maybe your opinion changes, even a little, by the end of the episode. Let's get into it. I have dealt with loneliness a lot in my life. I didn't have a solid group of friends until college, and at that, I only have one friend whom I met in college. The others are friends from middle school and high school who aligned with me and are still in my life. Although I had, nominally speaking, a quote-unquote friend group in high school, most of them took advantage of my kindness and weren't good friends to me in return. Unfortunately, the trend of people taking advantage of my kindness is a theme that has followed me my entire life and is still something that I'm working on. To address this issue and protect myself better, I've become more selective with the people I let into my life. To be clear, I'm still kind and friendly to people, even if we're not friends. It's just that I've become more selective with who I allow to get close to me. I've gotten pretty good at picking up on people's energy and the vibes they put out, and I use that information to help me decide whether or not we align. Obviously, their personality, interests, and values are also things I take into consideration when deciding whether or not I want to try getting closer to them as a friend. As a result of being more selective with the people I allow around me, I tend to spend a lot more time alone, and it's taken a while and it's still not always easy, but now I've come to realize that alone time has helped me level up as a human being and get closer to who I ultimately want to be. When you're alone, you have to make peace with your own thoughts. Therapy can be very helpful for this, and I would highly recommend it to just about everybody. Being alone helped me realize how much I needed to go to therapy, and that kick-started my self-improvement journey. Growing is a lonely journey because it all happens inside of you. Most of the growing I did alone. I did a lot in therapy, but I did even more outside of therapy when I was alone with my own thoughts. I began to pick up on unhelpful ways I talked to myself or thought about things. I journaled alone in my room to process my thoughts. I cried alone a lot of times as I worked through emotions and trauma I had shoved down for years. And as I spent more time alone with myself, I began to heal. Now, this is not to say that healing is a journey you must embark on alone. Therapy and a good support system are key. I had friends and family to support me through the hard times, but all of the work that I did to get through those hard times is work that I had to do alone. After all, only I know my innermost thoughts and feelings, some of which I can't even describe to others because I lack the words to do so. I had to wrestle with these incommunicable things on my own because they were inside me and I couldn't get them out with anybody else's help. Only my own self-knowledge and understanding could help me work through everything inside and get me to a better place, which is, thankfully, where I am today. Even now, I continue to experience a lot of solitude. There are times when I still get lonely and need company, but I also work hard to find gratitude for the time I get to spend alone with my thoughts. Now, instead of working on healing, I work on building thought patterns, habits, and routines to help me level up even more. I do creative work like writing and recording these podcast episodes, or I read or watch things to get inspiration. It's easy to just lie around feeling miserable for yourself about being alone, but it's infinitely better to spend your alone time working on yourself so that when you're not alone anymore, you can show up as your best self for you and everybody you're spending time with. So, I'd like to offer you a challenge. Next time you find yourself feeling lonely, try to find some gratitude for your solitude. If you're having trouble being grateful for the solitude itself, try doing something with your time that will help you level up, whether it's journaling, resting, exercising, or spending time in nature. Do something that will help future you be a better you. And then, hopefully, when future you looks back at what you did with the time when you were alone, future you will be grateful and see that alone time as a blessing, not a curse. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Power of podcast series. I hope that this episode has maybe helped you see or understand loneliness and solitude in a different light. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing if you haven't already, and I'm excited to talk to you all in the comments below. Thank you again for joining me for this episode, and I'll talk to you in the next one.